And we are back right here on the number one faith-based, motivational, and inspirational broadcast platform in the country, GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP TV, located at gmap1.com. I love my job. I hope and pray that you love your job just as half as much as I love mine. If you do, you're doing pretty good. And I'm honored, I'm privileged, I'm blessed, I'm grateful, all of the above, to have this next individual join me here on the GMAP broadcast platform today. My studio audience, they're out right now because COVID. So this is all he's gonna get. Yeah, that's my audience right there. So that's my audience. I hope and pray that you appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, I guess that's a word too, please welcome one of our featured authors on the GMAP Broadcast Network, Mr. Bill Sutton. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. I am great. I love that introduction. I like the crowd noise, even though I know it wasn't. I couldn't tell whether it was growling or yelling, though, so I'm not sure where to go.
Wait a minute. You didn't say growling, did you?
I did. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I couldn't tell for sure, but I think it was yelling. So thank you for the cheers.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much. That was my crowd. My studio audience. They're basically calling in because of COVID, so everybody don't want to get together in one little small room. Well, you know how it is. All right. Nevertheless, we take time out to, first and foremost, Bill, we thank you for, number one, being here with us today. Number two, we thank you for accepting the invitation to be a part of the GMAP Broadcast Network family. And number three, we thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey. Wow, that's some heavy stuff.
The honor is mine. I appreciate it so much, and thank you for having me.
Well, I do know, Bill, sometimes how hard or difficult it could be these days for individuals to accept certain invitations without really knowing what to expect on the other side. And you have openly accepted, and we are proud and grateful to be able to do what it is that we do to show our gratitude and appreciation to you. Do me a favor. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from. Who is Bill Sutton?
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it, Kevin. Again, my name is Bill Sutton. My official name is William Sutton. I'm a junior. My dad was also a William Sutton, but I go as Bill. I'm a small town guy, born and raised in Williams, Arizona, and I've lived here all my life, other than a few little bit of time in the city and when I went to college. And so this is home. So I kind of have a life from a small town perspective, but I kind of have some uniqueness to my life as well. I was a judge in the court, a small town court in Williams, Arizona, in Coconino County in Arizona for 20 years. And before that, I was actually a school teacher for 9 years. So that's kind of quickly my background. I have a wonderful family. My wife and 6 kids. 5 of them still surviving, all grown, and I have some grandkids too. So
Wow.
yeah, that's my blessings of life right there.
Hey, you
But
know what? And it truly is your blessings of life. Now, I'm going to rewind the tape and press play. School teacher to judge. I I'm not I'm not really sure I can grasp that, but
yeah, most people can.
yeah, how do you? Well, okay. I mean, it's just like I can say I went from in my college days. I went from a small college in Mitchell, South Dakota, called Dakota Wesleyan University. And then I transferred and went to a small college in Edabina, Mississippi, called Mississippi Valley State. Go figure. That was like night and day. So that's what that kind of reminds me of, a school teacher to a judge. But nevertheless, you are here today, and you got some catching up to do, Bill. I have 11 children, and
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I won't be catching you. Yeah.
You said you won't be catching me.
Oh,
I have a pair of twins. I have a pair of twins, and I'm grateful for that. Let me say this: I have 11 good children.
good.
None of them would have had to see you as a judge. Okay. So with that being said, of course, for those that don't know, now you know. Bill is one of our featured authors here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. We are grateful to let you know that you can stop by gmap1.com at any time and click on the tab that is simply titled Featured Authors. Okay, and you will see a copy of the publication that I'm currently showing you on our television screen. And of course, if you click on it, it will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate details and information about the author as well as the publication. Thoughts? I tell you, this is going to be interesting. Thoughts from the mountaintop. Tell us about it.
Well, thank you. It's actually my second book. My first book was called Thoughts for the Weekend. Thoughts for the Weekend is based on a weekly, kind of what you would call a blog, a weekly Facebook post I would do on Saturdays. And I've done it for a number of years. And eventually, I had a lot of people that they encouraged me to put them all together in the form of a book. And it took me quite a while to put that together. But you know, having that book is a long time dream of mine. And so once I was able to get the first book published, it kind of opened the door to be able to keep going on these weekly thoughts and putting them in the format of a book. And Thoughts from the Mountaintop is my second. There'll be a third and hopefully a fourth. So I have three in the that will be coming out again. This is my second one. It was just released this last week, and yeah, it's exciting for me. But you know, everyone has a story to tell, and everyone has life experiences, kind of like you, Kevin, and 11 kids, and some of your journeys you told me about it. Everybody has their unique life experience. I learned as a young boy that if you learn from people who have experience, sometimes you don't have to go through some of the same hard knocks that they have to go through. The school of hard knocks is better if you learn it from someone else instead of yourself. You
I
know what I
agree.
mean?
Oh my goodness, you said a mouthful right there. I agree wholeheartedly.
So
Uh,
true. But not only the school of hard knocks, but you can learn good things that people have done in their life and how to pattern those things. And so it's not that I have a lot of wisdom that others don't. It's just that I have a story to tell, and I can do those in the form of these 100 thoughts that are a part of the book. They're designed to read about two a weekend or two a week. It is not a devotional. In fact, my foreword in my first book says, "What we don't need is another devotional." Nothing wrong with the devotionals. I'm reading one right now as we speak, but they're out there. There's so many of them. And what I find with the devotionals is I usually get behind. So I'm reading my winter devotional sometime in the summer, and it just doesn't make any sense. So, this is not a devotional, but it's 100 thoughts designed for 2 a week. And then in December, I have 12 because December is my favorite month. So I have a lot of things to say. And so there's 12 thoughts in the month of December. And that's the way my first book was, my second book was. And I think that I just try to bring a perspective, a life perspective from my unique journey. And maybe somewhere along the way, it will help others. And that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote the book.
Well, I'm pretty sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are. I've learned, Bill, never to speak in a assumption situation. Never look at things as if or when or maybe or finna. It is blessing someone. It is blessing someone right now as we speak. We probably just don't know it. I believe in my spirit, in my heart. Everything happens to an individual for a reason. Everybody can't go through what everyone else goes through. Everyone has their experiences, and I'm with you. I believe in my heart that we do have enough devotionals, but they should never date them. They should never date devotionals.
Yes.
That way you can read them anytime.
Yeah.
And you'll never run behind. It's just like the Bible, just like the Word of God. It doesn't get old. I don't care if you read a devotional in December that was meant for March. It's still relevant.
Absolutely. Yes.
Mouthful. Okay. Now,
I agree.
with that being said, of course, you've already pretty much answered one of the questions that I would have approached you with, and that was what's next for Bill Sutton. And of course, we know and expect with gratitude and in anticipation that we're going to look forward to those next publications that you, of course, will be releasing. Speaking of that, if someone made a choice, Bill, to go out and show their love, care, concern, and support for you and want to purchase and or download any of these publications, what would be the process for them to do so? How can it be purchased and received?
Yes, sir. So it's Amazon.com is where it's available now, and it can be done by online book, soft cover, or hardcover. So anywhere between $9 and $24, depending on what type you're going to be purchasing. So, and either one of the books, both the first one and the second one, are available on Amazon.com.
Okay, and the first publication, of course, I don't have that one on the screen, but it's what was it titled? Thoughts from the Weekend?
Yes, sir. Thoughts for the Weekend.
Thoughts for the Weekend. And of course, we're not going to allow any of our viewers and listeners to forget about little old GMAP Broadcast Network down here in the lower left-hand corner of everything in small print. But as a judge, small print is most of the time the most important print on the paper.
You bet.
So we don't mind maintaining that title. But again, you'll be able to see Thoughts from the Mountaintop in our featured authors area on the GMAP Broadcast Network site, GMAP1.com. All you have to do is click on that tab. You will see a copy. Let me put that publication on the screen real quick. You will see a copy of this publication in our featured authors area. All you have to do is literally click on it. It will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information about the author as well as the publication, how you can place your order, and so on. And of course, Bill, we are role models to someone, whether we like it or not.
Absolutely.
Someone is always watching us and paying attention to our journey, watching our every step, and they're saying to themselves, I wonder what it is that I can do to follow my dreams, to follow my passions, to get on track and do, something very similar to what Bill has done. What words of encouragement would you have to share with an individual like that today?
Be a dreamer. Everything that's ever been made, everything that's ever been achieved started first right here in the mind, in the heart, stemming from something that maybe God has put inside of you, something that maybe you don't think you can quite do, something that's big enough that it scares you a little bit. I'll tell you, dreamers, Walt Disney was a great dreamer. He was ridiculed, that he was a dreamer, but he achieved. Martin Luther King, great dreamer. I have a dream, but he achieved everything. Everything of value starts with a dream. So don't be afraid of being a dreamer. Don't let anybody criticize you for being a dreamer, because everything starts that way. And when you dream and you start taking steps, you're not going to have all of your hows answered. In fact, the hows will stop your nows. The hows will stop your nows if you try to have all of your ducks in a row. You just have to start, because once you take a steps, Providence moves with you. God's right there to be on the journey with you. Wow. Kevin, I don't know when you started all of this wonderful station that you have now, all those years ago, but I'm sure it was just a thought and a dream, and it probably started very small, but you started taking steps. Yeah. And here we are.
That's such a powerful statement. Be a dreamer. I'm going to say this. Not everything that you accomplish starts with a thought, but everything you do in life starts with a thought.
Yes.
You can't even get up and go to the washroom without thinking about it.
True.
I mean, everything we do. If I touch this button, I think about it first. If I talk, I think about what I'm going to say. I mean, everything we do in life starts with a thought. That is such a powerful statement. But you said be a dreamer. You know what, Bill? I'm going to say I didn't care what people think, do, feel, say. I didn't care if they dog me out, disrespect me, dishonor me, just throw me to the wolves. It didn't matter. Because I remember one time I told a pastor, well, he told me, he said, well, Kevin, I know you're a preacher now, but where's your church and who are you preaching to? Because I didn't have a physical location. My church started off online. I went from 6 members to 1,600 loyal members in less than 6 days. Wow. And I said, I'm unique. I'm not going to follow protocol just because it seems normal. I'm not going to be in a church because you say, or I'm not going to wait on you to lay your hands on me to accept my vision. God already ordained that. So it's amazing because here it is 10 years later, that same individual that asked me that question is calling me daily trying to figure out how he can do what I'm doing.
There you go.
I said, it's ironic how the tables turn. But me, I helped him. I reached out and I said, this is what you need to do. I said, because it's not by coincidence that God requires us to reach out to people. And we need to reach out to people in every corner of the world. Well, what better way to do that than the way we're doing it today? Wow.
And when you had that dream, and I would encourage other people, keep in mind a dream's only a dream until you take steps. Right. My wife likes to say that God can't steer a car that's in park.
That's right.
You have to keep moving.
Wow.
And that's the big thing. Just take steps. Start taking steps. everything that I've ever done in life, there's been a lot of detours. It's never exactly the plan that I've laid out. It's always been, it's not a straight line. It goes around in circles sometimes, but you know what? Keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Because eventually, if that dream is something that God has partnered with you, you'll get there.
Yeah.
It'll happen. I was so afraid of ever writing a book, and I thought, who would want to read something like that? And I thought, eventually, when people started encouraging me, I thought, why not? People say, why me? It's like, why not me?
Why not? Right. Wow.
It's we're all just regular people. We're all just regular folks, and you know, uh, uh, when we have the humility to know that we're just people, but others have done great things that are just people. In fact, usually it's those average people that accomplish so much, that rise up through their obstacles because of the struggle, because they've had obstacles. Now they can relate to people.
Yeah.
Now they have something they can say.
Right.
And I've had my share of things that I've had to go through myself, and those things don't have to be in vain. Those hard knocks, those failed businesses that I've seen, losing an adult child, losing my best friend and sister, just the people that you love. Sometimes it's those hard times. It's those hard times that maybe it'll help us to have the heart to empathize with others that are going through tough times. And it's important to remember that these hard times are not necessarily God given. I'm just saying that God can use the hard times to help others, because we're all in the struggle. We're all in this journey together, and nothing's perfect.
That's right.
Nothing's perfect. We have to make the best with what we got, where we are, and who we are in life.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think you said something very important. God can use those hard times to help someone else. Those hard times that you may have endured over the years were meant for you. Those hard times were to strengthen you so that you can strengthen someone else. You're being used. And I did a sermon one time, Bill, and the title of the sermon was, "Are you willing to be used by God?" So if what you're going through, that experience, that testimony could be a blessing to someone else, then you could honestly look in the mirror and say, mission accomplished. And God could look at you and say, well done, my good and faithful servant. With that being said, if someone wanted to reach out and speak with you on a more individual basis, is there some information that you don't mind sharing of how they could reach you?
Well, I have a Facebook, Bill Sutton, Arizona, but I also have an author, Bill Sutton, as well. So if you type in Bill Sutton without a space in between Bill and Sutton, you can type in that word. You can message me. You can go to my author's page and ask me a question. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to me that way. Also, I'm on Instagram. People can reach out to me that way. But the way the thing that I prefer is usually through Facebook, and if it's private, then it can be like on Facebook Messenger, because I don't care where you are in life. There's always something that you can give. I think of one of my first chapters in my first book. It's called Mr. Bojangles. That's a song that was made popular by the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and others. And it was actually made popular by Sammy Davis Jr., who did a dance routine to Mr. Bojangles back in the day. But Mr. Bojangles was in a jail cell. It tells a story of his life, how it's been so tough. I mean, all these years later, he's still grieving over a dog that was his best friend. He really didn't have it made. He had a tough life, and here he was sitting in a jail cell. But the point was, Mr. Bojangles helped the other fellow in the jail cell. He was singing and dancing, even though he was in a jail cell, down and out. himself. And
Wow.
I think that's a lesson for all of us. No matter what our lot in life is, we can still sing and dance, even if it's in a jail cell,
Oh
or
my,
give good words to folks.
that is so very true. And Bill, I wondered one day. I was riding down the street on my bicycle. Now, my bicycle, the kind you pedal. Now, and I was shouting and singing, and I was filled with joy. I was riding with no hands, had my hair up, my hands up, and people were looking at me like I should be in a crazy house. And that story about him dancing in the jail cell. The moral to the story is this: people didn't understand or know or realize that I had just came off of a stroke.
Wow.
I was completely, I had no feeling. I had nothing going on my entire right side of my body. I couldn't walk. I had nothing going with my legs, my arm. I couldn't hear in my right ear. I couldn't see out of my right eye. No one had no idea why I was riding down the street on a bicycle, because they didn't know that a month ago or 2 months ago, I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even ride a bike. Instead of getting in my car, I got on a bicycle, because for once in my life, I could appreciate where I was. And I shared that story with someone, and it says it helped them, because you can take the worst things in life and learn from them. When he was dancing in that jail cell, there was a reason for that. And it's amazing that you even shared that story. I once got convicted for writing a bad check. And they sent me, now you're a judge, right?
I was.
They sent me to a maximum security penitentiary for writing a bad check.
Wow.
They called the crime deceptive practice. So they sent me to a maximum. I was locked up in a cell with the guy who had 150 years twice. I walked in the cell, and he pointed to the top bunk and he said, "That's your bunk." And I said, "No problem. I'm 170 pounds soaking wet, and you're 350 pounds. I'll get right on it." But I got in that bed, Bill, and I did something that I had never done before. I prayed and I cried. I cried and I prayed. I prayed and I cried. And when I opened my eyes, that young man couldn't have been no more than 3 inches from my face. He scared the living daylights out of me. But he looked me right in the eyes and he said, "I don't know who you are." He said, "But would you please pray for me?" It blew me away. I was sent all the way to a maximum security penitentiary to pray for that man. And 24 hours later, they knocked on the cell and said, "Kevin Strawder, pack it up. You're going home."
Mm,
Wow.
powerful. What a story.
Wow.
I mean, how God used you, just like Mr. Bojangles, in a jail cell to make a difference in
Yeah.
that man's life.
That's what that reminded. That's why I had to tell you that story. That is what that reminded me of.
Oh, wow.
And 24 hours later, Bill, they knocked on the cell and told me to pack it up. I'm going home. Not going to another, minimum security or whatever. With that being said, I just had to tell you that story, Bill, because the Sammy Davis Jr. story of him dancing in a jail cell, what have you, that's a powerful statement when someone can have that much joy for no apparent reason. People may look at him crazy and say, "Wow." So with that being said, of course, for those that don't know, Bill Sutton is one of our featured authors on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Thoughts from the mountaintop. We encourage you to show your love, care, concern, and support to Bill as an author and to the publications that he has released. Of course, you do know that we are going to be inviting you back, Bill, to hear more about what you're doing and what's yet to come. You do know that, right?
Oh, I would be honored. I would love that. It's been, this has been a lot of fun, and yeah, thank you for
And of
allowing me here.
Oh, please. You know what? I hear thank me all the time, but I thank you for accepting the invitation to be here.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
And of course, we know that you Bill told me this morning, wow, you work late. I just can't get past that. But
Yeah, you
you do have our phone number. And I want to encourage you today, Bill, use it. Pick up that phone, call, text, chat, tweet, whatever you do. Reach out to us and let us know what's going on with you. We will be honored to assist you in any way we can. All you have to do is call and ask, and we want you to know that the answer will always be yes, and you will never, ever, ever have to ask us twice.
We appreciate it. You're a good man, Kevin. Thank you so much.
We thank you, and before I let you go, I'm going to move over and I'm going to allow you to share exactly what's on your heart and have the final words from today. I'm moving over and say, Bill Sutton, the floor is yours.
Well, a few years ago, it's been, I don't know how long, maybe 20 years ago or so. I was taking a drive one night, and I was questioning something. I didn't understand why I saw sometimes what I would call just people in the world that were getting results with some of the things that I felt that they were doing by faith. And I thought, well, wait a minute now. I pray, I have a relationship with God, and why are these people using these same principles? And I tell you what, I felt like there was a download of information going into my mind. Or upload, whatever you want to call it. I guess it would be upload. But I thought of something really, really quickly. I thought, I have a person who worked for me who every year she would say, I get sick for Christmas. And she would start that about November. Every year she said, I'm sick for Christmas. I'm sure I'm going to be sick for Christmas this year. And she was always sick for Christmas. And I thought, she was using the power of faith, and she was using it in the wrong direction. And she was getting results. And I thought, wow, that is powerful there.
Yeah.
And I thought at that time, how many believers pray for one thing and then speak another?
Yeah.
Just canceling out, just by using their faith in the wrong direction. That wrong direction isn't, I'm going to be sick. That's not the direction that God wants. But you hear people all the time, God, please let me lose weight. I need to lose weight, and then go out and speak. I just can't seem to lose weight. Or, God, please let us get out of debt. Our family's in debt. I need your help. Please let me out of debt. And then go on to proclaim, we're going to never get out of debt. And we sabotage ourselves with our own words a lot of times. And those are some of the things that I just want people to quit saying. You can't pray positive and speak negative to see results. It's just not going to happen. But I think how many believers out there are praying and praising God on Sunday and praying in the morning, and then going and basically cursing themselves the rest of the time, cursing their own desires. And I heard one time that worrying is kind of like praying really hard for what you don't want. But how many believers out there spend 90% of their time worrying instead of believing, that God doesn't have it out for us. God has special things for us, but it's up to us to receive what he has for us, because he wants the best. we're his children. He's not up there with a big stick ready to whack us every time we turn around.
Yeah.
He wants the best for us, just like Kevin, you want the best for your kids. You're 11
Mhm.
kids, and
Yeah.
I want the best for mine. He wants the best for us.
Yeah.
But we have to take the ball and run with it. We have to do our part,
Yeah.
and part of that is to quit sabotaging ourselves. And we are going to fail. Everyone does, but you know what? Keep going forward. Like I said before, when you fail forward, fall
Yeah.
forward.
That's right.
You get back up and you keep going, and eventually you'll get there. And uh, God looks at us like we should look at others. I have a big plate of glass in my front room window, and I can look out, and it's a beautiful scene I have out in front of my house. I see a big tree out there, but how many people look at the smudges on the windows and they can't see the beauty on the other side?
Yeah.
And that's what God sees with us, but we think that God is looking at nothing but our smudges and not what's on the other side. We need to look at the others the same way. They have something beautiful on the other side if we can just get past the smudges on their windows.
Ooh.
Anyway, so that's some of the reasons why, the things I want to share with people, and how I share these things in my weekly thoughts, and I hope it can be a help to some people out there.
There you go, hoping again. There you go, hoping again. No, you don't have to hope, Bill. It is blessing somebody. I can guarantee you.
Absolutely. I believe that.
I don't have to hope, think, say maybe, if it's finna. It is.
I believe it.
It is, and I can guarantee it. I love that analogy you used. Get past the smudges. Look at the beauty on the other side. Everyone has beauty on the other side. No one is born filled with hate, animosity, anger, doubt, fear. No one.
No, you're right. Yes.
No one
You're right.
is born, prejudice. No one.
No.
It's taught.
It's taught. Yeah.
Get past the smudges.
Mm.
I see. You start, Bill. I'll be preaching to you. So,
Take it on. Good.
oh my goodness. So, Bill, I just want to thank you so much. You have been such a pleasure to speak with today. I'm still kind of stuck on last night. He said, "Boy, you work late."
You poor. How many hours you put in a day? Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. But I will let the viewers and listeners know that if you have missed any portion of this conversation, all you have to do is sit back and relax. I will be placing it on our YouTube channel. You can get there from our website. I will also be sending it over to our Facebook feed. It's going to be airing on our weekly cable television program. We're just excited to be able to do what it is that God has blessed us to do. We're filled with joy. Sometimes you ask, do I really deserve what I'm doing because I enjoy it so much? Yes, you do. Sit back, relax, be willing to endure the tough times, because I'm going to say your destiny was determined before your delivery. All you have to do is be willing to endure the process. You'll be victorious, and you will be guaranteed to reach your destiny. I guarantee it. Because look what Jesus did. You think Jesus wanted to get beat down, spit on, talked about, ripped from his skin, carry his own execution device, die? But I'm grateful for what that songwriter said. That's not how the story ends. Look at it that way. You may be enduring tough times. Bill endured tough times with 11 kids. I endured tough times. I think I endured a little bit more tough times than others, but I endured them. But look at the blessings. That's not how the story ends. I wouldn't trade anything I've been through in for the world. I'm grateful to say congratulations to one of my sons, Jameer. He is getting ready to graduate from West Point Academy. And,
wow. Honor. What an honor. Congratulations.
That is outstanding. We went
Yeah.
down to New York, and I'm going to promise you one thing, Bill. I will never be responsible for driving in New York again. Me and my wife, we drove to New York. We didn't catch the plane, and those mountains, while traveling, scared my wife to death. She was terrified. I promise I won't take her through that again. We'll catch the plane, ride a train, something. We'll Uber it before we drive. But we're grateful. We went down to a banquet a couple of weeks ago, and you know, I have never been so proud than that moment in my life. It was such a proud moment for mother and father, because I looked around and I just didn't see a whole lot of fathers. It just disturbed me. And I saw a lot of African American children, kids, men, but I only saw their mothers.
Mm.
And that disturbed me. I felt really good because I was there for my son.
Sure.
And it was a great moment. Bill, I appreciate you being here today. I love you, man. I appreciate you accepting all of the invitations, and I'm looking forward to where we go from here. So I want you to have a fantabulous rest of your day. I promise not to work late tonight.
Okay, there you go. And love back your way as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bill. And I'll be reaching out to you to let you know where we go from here. Until then, you be blessed and continue to be a blessing to others, okay?
You as well. Thank you.